Good morning, friends. How are you today? It's like 3:20 in the morning, and this is the time of the day when I think things through. And there was a video that concerned me a great deal yesterday, in which a couple of the RINOs, the Republicans in name only, were going after Trump and attacking his motives. And I can speak to that. I can speak to that because of, I told you that I had an aunt and uncle who were communists, Eugene Dennis and his wife Peggy. And, whoops, I don't know what that was. And Gene died in 61, just after getting out of Leavenworth for having violated the Smith Act, was the act of advocating the overthrow of the government. He just advocated it. He just talked about it. He didn't do it. He didn't do what's happening now. All right. He was, I guess, convicted in the late 40s and died in 61. But his wife, Peggy, wrote a book, The Autobiography of an American Communist, that was televised as an American Experience TV show in 1978. And I was able to view that TV show, in which Peggy brought out all the family photos of all the aunts and uncles that I knew that were radical leftists, okay? And she announced that she was joining the Republican Party. And we all thought, how odd. Why would a communist join the Republican Party? And that's because she had realized that the intentions of the Communist Party are the same as the intentions of the imperialist fascists. Okay? Imperialist fascism is what communism is. And so today in the Republican Party, there are people who call themselves Republicans who act like communists, and this should not surprise you. And these are the same people, the same legislators, congressmen, jurists, senators, okay, who mildly speak for Republican principles, but then they put all their money behind the left. They put all their money behind what the left is doing. And these are also people who are deep into big tech. They have very, very deep pockets because they have learned how to use lobbyists and bribery to legislate the laws that give them advantages. Okay, these are the rich who are very, very liberal, and they support the left. Okay, and we know their names. Okay, we know among them is Mitt Romney, who is a vulture capitalist. Okay, and Lindsey Graham and McConnell, the Mikulski, I think her name is. Okay, these are the Republicans who are liberal, supporting the Democrats. And they belong in a different party because their intentions are not a republic in which the people vote for what they need and intend and want to do and have and be. The RINOs and the NeoCons and the PNAC crowd, the Project for an American Century. And down below, I'll give you a link to the group photo of PNAC from 20 years ago, 21 years ago. Okay. The PNAC crowd are the same as the DARPA Pegasus crowd, are the same as the NeoCon crowd, the same as the RINO crowd. They're very rich people who wield their influence in a manner that I would characterize as rule or ruin. It's rule or ruin. It's divide and conquer. Okay. They set up protection rackets for their favorites. All right. They're very corrupt people. And they are now openly attacking Trump's intention to drain the swamp. And they are the swamp, okay? All right? The deep state, they are the deep state. They are the swamp, okay? The people with endless money means to access children or adrenochrome or how many estates and how many pieces of property and how many non-governmental agencies can they shell their money out to, okay? These are the people who want to rule or ruin. And fortunately for us, we do have hope because President Trump is relentless about this draining the swamp and putting an end to child sex trafficking and putting an end to gun running and drug running. That's not his idea of a nation that he wants to claim as his, okay? All right, he's got a big ego. And there are a lot of things that he calls into play that I disagree with also, but draining the swamp is where we begin. That's where we have to begin. And the swamp consists of the RINOs who are funding the left. And that's the point that got me up at 3 o'clock in the morning that I have to speak to, because it's amazing how many people don't realize that the RINOs and NeoCons are the ones funding the left. Do you get it now? All right. It's playing both ends against the middle is what we call it, right? And we don't need that. And so let's stick with the program to drain the swamp. And let's find as many leaders as we can. And, you know, there's Jeff Prather, and there's how many people are speaking out, Dan Bongino, and Jerome Corsi, and Sebastian, what's his last name? And Lionel is speaking against the swamp. Okay. There are people who realize that rule or ruin is the mentality and the intention of a group of elites, and they have to be stopped. And let's stop them and not be too critical of the people who know how to stop them. I don't know how to stop anything except to speak to the truth of its effects on our nation. And it has been the rich elites who have funded academia and education to teach communism to our children. It's been the rich elites who have inflated big pharma into a protection racket of procedures, tests, and drugs. It is the rich elites, okay, who have purchased, only 6 of them own the mainstream media and fill the airways with their relentless collectivist, disruptive methodologies out of the Frankfurt School and Saul Alinsky and the Protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion, because they think that their shit doesn't stink and they're better than the rest of us. Well, I'm here to tell you, my dad may have been a blue blood, but he wasn't better than everybody else. He suffered along with humanity, as we all must. So make a mental note. RINOs and NeoCons and PNAC are communists. They support the deep state and the New World Order. They need to be brought to heel, or, the swamp needs to be drained. Let it be drained. Keep that in your prayers. Let the swamp get drained by the military courts in Gitmo. Let that happen. This has been Emily Windsor Craig. And yes, it's middle of the night. Well, sometimes we worry, I look at what happens to my own offspring. My own kids are in their 50s and 40s and 30s. And I look at their struggles and I say, holy cow, this should never have happened to all of us. None of us intended for this to happen. Where does it come from? It comes from advantaged people who think they're better than everybody else. And we don't need that anymore. Thanks for dropping by. Bye-bye.